After receiving a cryptic message from a ghost girl that strangely affects Rover and Abby, Rover decides to attend the Night of Remembrance Festival in Eglinton. This year's event centers on a haunting ghost girl theme, and a guide instructs Rover to wear a mask. Rover presents the mask of the laureate, asking if it would be suitable. With a nod of approval, it was deemed perfect. At the heart of the bustling festival, Rover's gaze fell upon Cantarella. She explained that the Night of Remembrance was a festival steeped in the lore of ghosts. Cantarella invited Rover to join her on a quest to solve 3 riddles about the ghost girl, promising that success would lift the strange affliction that had affected him earlier. These riddles were hidden among the festival's many stalls, and the grand prize for solving all 3 was a wish-granting elixir. Though skeptical, Rover was intrigued by Cantarella's vested interest and agreed to join her on this eerie scavenger hunt. At the first stall, a character named Mammon agreed to share the first riddle, but only after Rover performed for him. Impressed by the display, he presented the first riddle, the Siren's Song, which wove a tale of a crown atop a mountain, a cascading waterfall, and a music box shaped like an apple. Cantarella, with a flash of insight, swiftly solved the riddle and led Rover to the next stall. The owner of the second stall, a man named Beelzebub, challenged Rover to select the freshest apple. After choosing the correct one, he is handed a lucky coin and the second riddle, the red apple. The riddle posed a peculiar question: why would apples appear in the deep sea? The coin itself was a fascinating clue. It was not perfectly round, had ribbed edges, and was adorned with a doll in a red hat on one side and a doll in a blue hat on the other. This unique detail caught Cantarella's attention, and she once again led Rover toward the third stall. At the third stall, the owner, Invidia, asked Rover to choose the most beautiful doll. No matter which doll Rover selected, Invidia gave Rover a doll in a red hat, claiming it was a harbinger of good fortune. She then revealed the third and final riddle, the round hat, which described a girl wearing red dancing shoes and a scarlet hat. Rover's mind connected the dots. The music box, the coin, and the doll were not separate items, but intricate pieces of a single ballerina music box. Together, Rover and Cantarella meticulously assembled the parts. Once finished, Rover performed once more, and the completed music box began to play, its melody coaxing a doll to materialize and dance before it abruptly ceased. The music stirred a memory of Portovino Castle, and a sharp, piercing headache interrupted Rover's thoughts as the strange frequency intensified. Rover, feeling the growing unease, asked Cantarella if it would be possible to rest at her castle, which she graciously agreed to. At her castle, Cantarella offered Rover a calming potion for the nerves and left to attend to her other business. Rover, while resting, spotted a girl in a vibrant red hat amongst the bushes. The girl beckoned Rover to follow her to a couple of plants in the garden, one of which resembled a red apple and the other was a jellyfish-like plant that eerily resembled her hat. Rover had a sudden realization. The round hat from the riddles might be a poisonous jelly rose medusa, and the ghost girls were connected to the Phasalias. Rover followed the girl and discovered Cantarella dancing gracefully, her movements seemingly regulating the strange frequencies. Rover shared this thought with her, and Cantarella confirmed that the ghost girl was indeed a reference to the cruel divine trials of the Phasalia family. The trials, she explained, were so brutal that their residual blood and tears had twisted Portovino Castle into the sea of ghosts' sonorosphere. To finally uncover the truth and lift the curse, Rover would have to dive into this chilling abyss. Cantarella gave Rover a lamp that held the very last ray of light in the dark abyss, a unique tool that allowed Rover to switch between the past and the future. She explained that the castle's twisted frequencies had caused the past and future to blur and mix. Rover soon discovered that the first divine trial required participants to retrieve 3 toxic sea apples from the treacherous depths. Rover found the first sea apple and a note from a worried girl named Chloe. The note revealed a dark family secret. Some family members would cruelly use commoners as substitutes in the trials to avoid the danger themselves. Rover found the second sea apple and another note from Chloe, this one chronicling her own participation. The girls had formed secret survival pacts such as knocking 3 times, humming a special tune and using the right colour. Rover found the third and final sea apple, along with a note from Chloe detailing a profound change in her mindset. The Phasalia family's foundation was built upon poison, and all the children were exposed to it from a young age to develop poison-related abilities. Whilst most commoners did not survive, one girl, Anis, had awakened an ability, though her throat was permanently damaged, leaving her voiceless. A door materialized before Rover, who realized they had to knock on it 3 times, just as those girls had done in those many years before. Inside, Rover discovered a vivid sketchbook filled with drawings and memories before entering a new world through a door where a multitude of jellyfish awaited their arrival. The second divine trial mandated that 2 participants capture the most venomous jellyfish. The winner was the one who survived the poison from their teammates' catch. Since only Rover and Cantarella were present, they teamed up to find the Jellyros Medusa. Rover discovered 2 notes, one detailing a Phasalia girl named Hebinon's remorse for harming her own blood, and another describing a Phasalia girl named Mandragora's chilling, cold resolve. After Rover and Cantarella returned with the jellyfish, she volunteered to take the poison, explaining her own immunity. A subtle but powerful shift rippled throughout the room. Behind a door lay the deep water zone, where a strange doll asked Rover to find her a round hat. Cantarella, though visibly unwell, forced herself to maintain her composure. They found another doll with vibrant purple hair which gave Rover that round hat he had been seeking. Rover gave this hat to the first doll, who then invited Rover to the stage for the final performance. Rover realized that the purple-haired doll was Cantarella, and the girl in the red hat was Anis, the silent ghost girl who had sent the initial message. Knowing that saving Cantarella was the priority, Anis closed her eyes and held high the lamp. A brilliant, blinding light filled the space, reigniting the lamp's glow, and Anis vanished. Rover learned that years ago, Cantarella had used illusions to seize the head of the Phasalia's position and put an end to the cruel trials. However, his lingering obsession, corrupted by the insidious whispers of the Thenodian, had turned the castle into the sea of ghosts. Rover and Cantarella worked together and set free his tormented will. As the obsession of the late head of the Phasalias finally faded, the Sea of Ghosts also vanished, and Rover found himself in a serene sanctuary where the girls who he once thought were dead were safe and sound. Cantarella explained that with the Thenodian's lies finally uncovered, the girls were now free to return home. She admitted that she had never intended to involve Rover and had planned to handle everything herself. She took part in the Night of Remembrance with the Ghost Girls theme to dive into the Sea of Ghosts alone, solve the riddles, and obtain the elixir of revival. This would have given her the reasoning she needed to send the girls home during the midnight dance of the dead. However, Anis's message had guided Rover to her side to complete the plan. Rover said a final farewell to the girls and watched them go home through the dance. The Night of Remembrance concluded smoothly, and the girls once returned to their normal lives. The strange influence on Rover and Abby was lifted, and everything returned to normal too. It felt like a fleeting dream, but Cantarella stood there right beside Rover as a comforting presence. She admitted that Rover was stronger than her, but her care for Rover was evident, and she invited Rover to rest at her now peaceful castle. In the quiet of the castle, Cantarella opened up to Rover, revealing the tragic history of her family. The Phasalias had always been in a perpetual struggle to resist the Thenodian's spiritual interference. The cruel trials were designed to find a maiden with an unbreakable will, one who could withstand the Thenodian's insidious whispers, though Cantarella could not accept the necessary sacrifice that stripped others of their free will, so she transferred her second awakening power to find a solution where only she would be harmed. She pretended to align with the Order to lull the Thenodian into complacency while tirelessly searching for a way to liberate the Sentinel and defeat the Thenodian once and for all. And then she found the Rover. Together, Rover and Cantarella had finally created a peaceful, happy ending to this once tragic fate of the Phasalias.